Good afternoon, everybody. Now I am going to discuss some questions from the question paper of Kannur University second semester examination of the second paper, Knowledge and Curriculum Part 1. The first question is, who considered education as a site for cultural reproduction? This is for 1 mark. If you ask such a question, you have to write the name of the person or the name of the school of philosophy. Pierre Bourdieu is the person who introduced education is a site for cultural reproduction. Or you can write Marxist philosophy considered education as a site for cultural reproduction. So this is enough for 1 mark. So you can write Pierre Bourdieu or Marxist philosophers. If you are asked who is the educationist who introduced or who viewed that education is a site for cultural reproduction, then you can write Pierre Bourdieu. If you are asked which school of philosophy considered education as a site for cultural reproduction, then you can write Marxist philosophy. Then the second question is, give Plato's definition, what is epistemology? This is 1 mark. Then you can just write, epistemology is a branch of philosophy which discusses or which deals with knowledge. This is in a 4 mark. But now I may give you some more items here because it will be useful for you for answering different questions. First, you should know what philosophy is, or definition which you can give for philosophy. Philosophy is vision of life. In simple words, philosophy is vision of life. All of us have got our own vision on life. If you are asked to give the definition of philosophy, then you can just write philosophy is reflective thoughts on life made by some wise people by using their wisdom, their thinking capacity. So this is philosophy. And philosophy has got 3 branches. These 3 branches are metaphysics, epistemology, and axiology. Metaphysics is the branch of philosophy which deals with reality of life. So if you are asked a question for 1 mark, what is metaphysics? You can just write metaphysics is the branch of philosophy which deals with reality in our life. If it is for 2 mark questions, then you can just write metaphysics is the branch of philosophy which deals or discusses the items related with the reality of our life. It answers the questions such as, what is life? What is real life? What are the aims of life? What is the ultimate aim of life? What is the real meaning of life? So this is metaphysics. Now the second branch of philosophy is epistemology. As I told, epistemology is the branch of philosophy which deals with knowledge. This is enough for 1 mark. If you are asked for 2 marks, then you have to give 1 or 2 more lines. So you can write epistemology is the branch of philosophy which deals or discusses the matters related with knowledge. It answers the questions such as, what is knowledge? What is true knowledge? What should be the aims of knowledge? What should be the nature of education? What should be the role of teacher? What should be the way or method which we have to use for gaining knowledge? So epistemology is the branch of philosophy which deals with all the areas related with knowledge. Then the third branch is axiology. Axiology is the branch of philosophy which deals with values. It's enough for 1 mark. Then if it is for 2 marks, then you can just write axiology is the branch of philosophy which deals with the items, the aspects related with values. Axiology of a philosophy tells what real value is, whether or how can we cultivate values, whether we have to use traditional values or modern values, whether we have to use values, whether we have to follow values or not. Such items are discussed by axiology. So now you have got answers for different questions. If you are asked what is philosophy, you can just write philosophy is some reflective vision on life put forth by some wise men by making use of their wisdom. Then if you are asked what is metaphysics, you can just write metaphysics is the branch of philosophy which deals with the aspects related to the reality of life. Then what is epistemology? Epistemology is the branch of philosophy which discusses the items related with knowledge and education. And what is axiology? You can write axiology is the branch of philosophy which deals with values. Values in a particular society. And if you are asked what are the different branches of philosophy, then you have got the answer. These are the branches of philosophy: metaphysics, epistemology and axiology. Very simple. Then the third question is, give Plato's definition of knowledge. Actually, Plato has given different visions on knowledge. But we can write, according to Plato, knowledge is something which we gain from our soul. This is enough for 2 marks, or for 1 mark. Plato was believing in the world of soul. He believed that there had been a world of souls before our physical body came to this earth. And according to Plato, we learn something or we gain some knowledge by accepting the knowledge which has already been stored in our soul. He was an idealist, so idealists were believing in spiritual satisfaction, you know. So if you are asked what is the definition of knowledge given by Plato, you can just write, according to Plato, knowledge is something which we gain from what we have already learned or what we have already stored in our soul. This is the definition given by Plato. Then what is embodied knowledge? The fourth question is, what is embodied knowledge? Embodied knowledge is exclusive individual knowledge which cannot be conveyed to others by using medium like language. For example, if I drive cars in a particular manner, it may be exclusive for me. I may not be able to teach this particular method of driving by using language, by writing the procedure in a book, because that particular way of driving I learned accidentally or naturally. I can do that, but I cannot teach it to others. So this particular knowledge, this exclusive individual knowledge is embodied knowledge or tacit knowledge. It's also known as tacit knowledge. So if you ask what is embodied knowledge, what embodied knowledge is, you can just write embodied knowledge is exclusive individual knowledge which cannot be convey to others by using a medium like language, which cannot be taught to others theoretically. That's all. Then what is the concept of knowledge in objectivism? Objectivism is a modern philosophy, a school of philosophy, a modern concept. According to objectivism, knowledge is something which we gain by making use of our reasoning power, our rational thinking. This is enough for 1 mark. And here actually some philosophers feel that knowledge can be, our perception can be considered as knowledge. For example, when we make use of our sense organ and our brain gives some interpretation, according to some people this can be knowledge. But objectivists believe that perception cannot be considered as knowledge. We can consider something as knowledge only when we gain that by making use of our logic, our reasoning power. So the question is for 1 mark. Okay, don't explain the questions for 1 mark. I just explain just for making you realize the concept. Yes. So according to objectivism, knowledge is something which we gain by making use of our reasoning power or logic. Then the 6th question is, what is truth? Truth is something which can be proven scientifically or logically. And this is in a 4 mark. And before that, you should know the difference between belief or truth. Belief and truth. Belief is some feelings or some thoughts spread among people without having any scientific or logical basis. It may be true or false. But people believe, people keep some thoughts in their mind just because they have got the idea from their ancestors. If you ask them, if you request them to prove such thoughts scientifically or logically, it may not be possible. Such things are called belief. So belief is some thoughts spread among people without having scientific or logical proof. Truth is some knowledge or some thoughts, some feelings, some message, some lessons, some facts, any word you can use, which can be proven scientifically or logically. So these are the answers for the 1 mark questions in the question paper of Knowledge and Curriculum Part 1, which was there for the examination, 2nd semester examination of 2019. Thank you.